and welcome back to another book tasting. Today, I have The Magnificent Makers, How to Test a Friendship. And this is the first book in a brand new series that's all about science, STEM, friendship, and diversity. Now, these two friends right here, Pablo and Violet, share a common love for science. Pablo wants to be an astronaut when he grows up, and Violet wants to be a scientist who runs a lab and studies diseases. Now, on their first day of third grade, these two friends must open up their hearts and their friendship to a brand new student in school. And one of them is a little bit more open than the other. When the three friends discover a riddle that transports them through a magical portal during science, the three of them cannot wait to check it out. Now, after being sucked through a telescope, the three friends find themselves in a magical makerspace. Have you guys ever been to a makerspace? Okay, I know that some of the schools have makerspaces in them now. Sometimes you can find them right there in your classroom or in the library, or even in their own special classroom just for makerspace. And you can have so much fun in a makerspace. You get to create new things out of old things by using recyclables and craft supplies, tools, and even 3D printers if the makerspace you're at has one. Now, we actually have a couple makerspaces over in New York City, and then there's one at the Science Museum here on Long Island. So it's pretty cool. You guys can go check out a makerspace if you've never been to one before. All right, so let's get ahead and get back to the book. Now, after the three friends, Violet, Pablo, and Deepak, get sucked through the telescope and transported to a makerspace, they meet a very colorful scientist who's magical in herself. She's kind of like Miss Frizzle in The Magic School Bus, if you guys know that story. If not, ask your parents. They totally know who Miss Frizzle is. So the three of them embark on this magical adventure through town. And it has them answering riddles using their knowledge of the food chain. The three friends must work together in order to move on to each new riddle. But they must hurry before time runs out, or they're going to be stuck in the makerspace forever. And another really cool thing about this book, besides the story, is that in the back, there are a couple of makerspace activities that you guys can try on yourself at home or even at school. I mean, ask your teacher or your friends to help you guys out. There's one on making a powered rubber band boat, and they actually talk about that in the book. And then there's another one where you can create your own ecosystem, which is also talked about in the story. So I want to read you guys a section in the book about when they get sucked into the telescope and meet the crazy magical scientist. So get ready. "Let's solve the riddle," says Violet. "Wait," said Deepak. He pulled on his ear. He seemed a little unsure. "What's the matter?" Pablo asked. "You aren't scared, are you?" "No," Deepak frowned. "Come on, guys," said Violet. "I bet Mr. Ing is secretly passing these around. Maybe if we solve it first, we get a prize or something." Before Pablo or Violet could answer any of the riddle, their chairs and tables started to shake. Everything in the classroom was shaking. Then, as quickly as it had started, the shaking stopped. "Did you feel that?" said Violet. Deepak gripped the table with trembling hands. Every person in the classroom was frozen in place. They were as still as statues. Not even Mr. Ing budged. Boom! Snap! Whiz-zap! Look, said Violet, pointing toward the window. The telescope was glowing inside a circle of purple light. Suddenly, something inside the telescope tugged at Pablo's shirt. He tried to pull away. Help! Pablo cried. He reached for his friend's hands. He was being sucked into the telescope. Violet dug her heels into the floor, but it was no use. It was as if they were paper clips and the telescope was a giant magnet. One by one, Pablo, Deepak, and Violet were squeezed through. They fell for a few seconds, then landed in the lab with a thud. The room was huge. Next to the flasks were rows of strange plants. One of the plants had leaves that moved all by themselves. Across from the strange plants were several giant jars holding creepy bugs. In one corner of the room, robots were organizing chemicals on a shelf. Whoa! Violet exclaimed. I could use robots like that when I have a lab. Deepak turned his head to the side. Is that plant dancing? There was also a row of clear boxes with various colorful crystals in them, and the crystals were floating. Those must be zero-gravity chambers, said Pablo. And over there, Violet pointed to a microscope that was hooked up to a computer. I bet I could see all kinds of bacteria and viruses with that. Next to the microscope was a hallway lined with doors. It was so long it was impossible to tell where it ended. So I guess this is, started Deepak. The Maker Maze, called a voice from behind them. They spun around. A tall woman with wild rainbow hair was standing in front of them. She was purple. She wore a purple white lab coat and bright purple pants. She held a large golden book under her arm. A pencil was tucked behind her ear. It's so wonderful to finally meet you, said the woman as she clapped her hands. You must be Pablo, Violet, and Deepak. How do you? Began Pablo. I always know the names of the people I invite to the maze, she winked. I'm Dr. Crisp. She pointed to the name tag on her lab coat. Now, let's get started. We have a lot to do before the others wake. And there's a picture of them in the makerspace. And then there's that crazy, wild, colorful Miss Crisp in the back. So that's a little taste of when they first get sucked into the makerspace and they meet a crazy scientist. And that crazy scientist is actually going to guide them through the different stages of the riddle in their magical journey. If you guys love science and love creating things, then this is definitely the book for you guys to check out today. And I hope that you guys do enjoy it and you continue to read the series and find out which magical science adventure that they go on, because every book is a different magical adventure. All right, and that's all we have for today, and I hope to see you guys next week. Happy reading, guys. Bye.